The father of Tshepang Pitse, who was murdered and dismembered, says he's relieved his daughter's killer has now pleaded guilty. Flavio Hlabangwane pleaded guilty in the Gauteng High Court in the sitting in the Palm Ridge Magistrate's Court. 23-year-old's body parts were found in Hlabangwane's fridge in 2021. The matter is due back in court again tomorrow, and our reporter Manqoba Mchunu caught up with Tshepang's father, Walter Pitse. You know, this is just, hi there Manqoba, it's just such an absolutely tragic story. But the family has been waiting to get some answer, some sort of closure, I suppose. Just tell us how they're doing now that there's been this development where Flavio Hlabangwane has now said, okay, I did it.
Well, Sally, the family is saying that, they're happy, first of all, that Flavio Hlabangwane has finally admitted to killing their daughter. Of course, it's something that he also admitted during his questioning by police. But what the family says is that despite Flavio having, confessed to killing, Tshepang Pitse, the problem, though, Sally, is the fact that that won't bring her back to the family. So they're saying that as much as he has admitted to it, they feel that the ongoing case still won't give them answer. And the reason for this, Sally, is because up until now, the family has still not located the torso of Tshepang Pitse. So they managed to bury the other body parts except for the torso. And up until now, Flavio Hlabangwane has not talked or, said anything about where the torso is. So the family quite hopeful that they will find justice, but they say, Sally, that they won't find closure up until they find all of her body parts. So the father saying that he's still quite worried, he's still quite depressed. In fact, he says that he now, has to rely on medication to sleep, simply because he cannot get over what happened, at that particular incident. He trusted Flavio Hlabangwane because Flavio was also the cousin of Tshepang Pitse, and so what happened is really devastating to him. He's chosen not to go to court, Sally, because he says he fears what he'll do to Flavio should he see him, for the pain that is caused him. But I spoke to him earlier on, Sally, about why he's finding it so hard to still find answers even now. This is what he had to say.
This guy, I give him trust as my sister's son. I give him trust at that. So, anything. Next expect or yes, because something sister, yeah. So, into interesting. Already body parts are fell.
All right, so Flavio Hlabangwane has this week pleaded guilty, but now the state is rejecting that guilty plea. Explain this to me.
Well, Sally, you recall, of course, that, one of the charges that have been brought for this particular, crime is a charge of murder. But now there is an issue as far as, Flavio Hlabangwane's statement or plea bargain is concerned, because he has admitted, Sally, to killing her, to dismembering her, and also violating a cop. So he's pleaded guilty to the 3 charges. And in fact, during that plea bargain on Monday, he also revealed details of how he had killed Tshepang Pitse during an argument that had taken place, and then he says he stabbed her in the neck, after which she fell. He then decided then to dismember her body, and he went into detail as to how exactly he dismembered her body before, of course, storing her remains in his deep freezer at that rented unit in Protea Glen. But Sally, the issue now with the state is that the reason why they're not accepting this plea bargain is because of the fact that this plea bargain is under, Schedule 5 of murder, which means that should Flavio Hlabangwane be found guilty of this particular charge, he'll then, be liable to receive anything from 15 years, which is a minimum sentence for murder. But instead, they are pushing for Schedule 6, which is premeditated murder, because they say that he planned this murder, he had time to think about it, and that it's something that he simply did not do at the spur of the moment. So they want him to be charged with a Schedule 6 charge of premeditated murder, which means that when it comes to sentencing, then then Flavio Hlabangwane is likely to face a life sentence, a harsher sentence than just 15 years of, for a charge of murder, which is under Schedule 5. So that's where the state is. They are rejecting this particular plea bargain. On that basis, they want him to be charged with premeditated murder so he can get a harsher sentence. Of course, the father says that he is not going to court, but he welcomes that move by the state because he too believes that Flavio Hlabangwane planned this particular murder. He says he still wants answers, Sally, as to why Flavio had killed his daughter, why, what was the motive for that, what was the reason for that, and beyond that, he wants to know where are those body parts. But take a listen to what he had to say.
So I will look to a native fellow why I will let Tshepang, ne, leng, everything. I will net fellow go court. I told you these statements because we will statements 3. Say look at the trial. Yeah, we will statements is 23. So I will court of a network Malay fail because sometimes on the sentence or some Malays. Ham Mola fail. Utulans plan no Molai, but you look at something sitting, say look. So how come la court why am Malay or Malay the body parts are would is then return the shop.
So basically, Sally, the father just explaining that he just wants answers from Flavio. Why did he kill, his daughter? And also, he says that, it's not something that happened then. He planned it clearly because, he took time to dismember her body. He says that, he just wants him to explain to the court and tell the truth what exactly happened, what was the reason for him to kill her daughter, and also where are those body parts.
Yeah, and that will mean full closure when they can. Why is he withholding part of the truth of this story? And as you were explaining, they were dating, but they were cousins as well. So this is a family connection, and it must be particularly painful. What's next in the case?
Well, sir, I can tell you that it's a story that really tore that family apart. As far as the murder is concerned, having two relatives that were dating and then killing each other. The family is really torn. But in terms of what is expected in court, we know that it's going to continue tomorrow. We're expecting more witnesses to be called. Of course, the reason why it was postponed, Sally, was because of several issues that had arisen in the case. And one of those issues is around the Popia Act, where the police have refused to give some evidence to the state on the basis that when this evidence was taken, the Popia Act was not in place. Now the Popia Act is in place, so they're refusing to give the state some information on the laptop of Flavio Hlabangwane, which they are hoping to use to build a case around the relationship between Flavio and Tshepang, and to show that there was a violent relationship between the two of them. So we understand those dynamics are still at play, and of course the judge had then ruled that because this case happened before the Popia Act came into effect, then the police must then furnish the state with those details. So expecting those details to be finalized, and of course for more witnesses to be called, just to prove the motive and that premeditated murder charge that the state is hoping to push.
All right, thank you so much for that update. A tragic story indeed. That's our reporter Manqoba Mchunu.